Battle of the Challenges podcast with Vincent Cloud, and this is the All-Stars Challenge pre-show. All-Stars 2. I have some details here. It's been a while since I've recorded, but I had to wait until most of these details started to come into focus because there's a site from stopbeingpolite.com, and they had like a bunch of crazy names on this list, but then each day it would change from like, oh, they failed quarantine, or like they were never on the list or something like that. Like bizarre shit, heartbreaking shit, to be honest with you. Like, for example, there's no Svetlana, but there was a day where people said she was going to be on there, and my heart skipped a beat. And now it's dead because, yeah, it turns out she was never even on the list or something like that. I don't know. But now we have a pretty good list here. And I think this is in alphabetical order, so we'll just start in with the cast. Well, if anyone gives a shit about the location, it's in Cancun, Mexico. All right, here we go. Cast. Ayanna Mackins. Last seen in Battle of the Sexes 2. I guess she was a road rule campus crawl gal. You know, I think she gets to the final, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, I totally could be, but yeah, I didn't really do any research. I was just like, I just want to talk about the challenge. But yeah, I don't remember too much about her, but if you get to the final, that means you have a social edge. You know, you have a political way about you. And you could perform, you know, in missions and stuff, so that's pretty good, unless I'm totally wrong and she never did get to the final, and who knows, you know? I'm just shooting from the hip here. All right, second we have Brad. Oh my gosh, Forianza, or however you pronounce his name. So this guy, man, last seen in Final Reckoning, you know, he's a real worlder, San Diego. Last time seen Final Reckoning, it was a bunch of BS. He went out in such a crappy way because the production, the elimination that he was put in against Leroy, the devices, the equipment failed. It broke in Brad's hands, you know, and he's like looking at producers like, okay, what do I do? This stuff just broke. But they didn't they didn't stop anything, and Leroy was able to do what he had to do because his stuff didn't fall apart in his hands. So it's ridiculous. You know, Brad in general, though, is one of the best to ever do it. You know, I mean, he's always right up there in terms of, like, he could win this whole fucking thing. You know, like this, yeah. I think he might be the most underappreciated champion. Maybe it's because it took him forever to finally get that win. But, I mean, he was in so many finals, and he's in elimination. He's so good in elimination. And that's the other reason why it was so shitty in Final Reckoning. That he wasn't even defeated for real. It was because production failed him, you know? So I honestly still have to say, like, Brad could win this whole thing. Not even knowing who else is on the list, I'm going to put him up there. I mean, he could definitely beat, what's her name? Ayanna Mackins, you know? I'm willing to say that because last season was single. One man or one woman could win. And last year was yes. Spoiler alert, yes isn't on this season, which is BS. Just so much BS. But let's get back to BF. Brad Fioranza. Just to say, something to add. Nothing. I got nothing. Let's move on to Casey Cooper. Casey Cooper is back. She was a fresh meat. Last seen in the ruins. And I am really surprised she came back because the ruins in particular, she was used as a weapon against her own team, the Challengers. You know, she was there with Brad, and Brad had to be like, oh my god, we can never win a fucking challenge because Casey's still on our team. You know, the champions they were like, if you win, you become the matchmaker, so you could like decide who's even up to even be in elimination. So since they won every single time, they made sure that Casey remained on that team of the challengers. And yeah, and Brad, he got so depressed about this that he drank and he got super drunk and he like challenged Darrell to a fight, and Darrell's like, I'm a fucking boxer, man. But all right, I've been drinking as well. Yeah, and that whole thing DQ'd the both of them. And after that, oh my gosh, it's about Casey Cooper. But anyways, brown liquor was not allowed on the challenge after that. But anyways, Casey Cooper. I will say this, and this was fucked up, because as soon as she was actually able to finally get put into elimination, that particular elimination against Susie, what was it called? Fucking TIE Fighter or something like that? Where they had to like kick a piece of bamboo, like a bamboo that was kind of cut halfway or whatever. And they had like a bunch of bamboo sticks. They had to do like maybe, I don't know, 13, let's say. And you would just kick up and kick that shit off, right? But Casey came to a bamboo stick that just would not give. She kept kicking it, and nothing would happen. And Susie did not have that problem. She was able to kick through all 13. But that was some major, like, hey, again, I'll utter the letters, BS. Where it's like, you know, even if they didn't, maybe producers wanted Susie to beat Casey, you know? In our most cynical minds, let's say that happened. But let's take that away. And just the very idea that you're using natural wood, and they're not manufactured. It's not like they took 13 poles of PVC pipe and cut them all in half. You know what I mean? Like, those things are made in a factory. They're made to be specific measurements. But you're dealing with bamboo sticks. You know, that is not going to be the case. So just either way, it's a production fail. And I always felt bad for Casey because, you know, she was used as a weapon against her own team. I mean, yeah. So she's back. And I don't mind it. I was never a Casey hater, really. But I just remember that was a bad full season. Like, I think she finally got eliminated, like, maybe 2 episodes away from the final or something like that. Or maybe right before the final. Something like that, yeah. But the whole time, you know, everyone, her team, the opponent team, they're like, Casey, you suck. So, yeah, she's back. Next we have Kahada Grindstaff, Real World Sydney, last seen in Battle of the Bloodlines. This guy's cool. I always liked him. He hasn't been back in a while. But when he was around last scene, he actually, like, upped his physicality. Like, he was actually in shape. He had muscles and shit. When usually he's still a shorter person. But this, you could see, like, he was shredded. Like, he's been, like, literally, like, lifting weights and stuff like that. And that was the last time we saw him. That particular elimination, that was also BS, let's say it together, where it was a random lucky elimination because you had to go in a hallway or something. No, yeah, you had to run into a room. Like, each person is on an opposite side of this room, and they have to go in there, and they have to find a ball and wrestle it out. But you don't know where it is. Like, it could be on your left, it could be on your right, it could be, you know, closer to you than your opponent and stuff. And it was just real shitty. You know, like, the wrestling thing away, that's whatever, right? Kahada is always going to be the smaller person in those situations, but he put in the work. He was a physical specimen. So to have him eliminated in a random chance elimination was heartbreaking. But hey, he's back, and that's awesome. Next we have Darrell. Holy crap! Last seen in All Stars 1, coming in second place in a final for the very first time ever. Like if you count official finals and if you count spin-off finals, he still has he still was at a 5-0 percentage. So the fact that he finally lost, that was mind blowing, and he lost to Yes, and Yes isn't here. So Darrell, you got this, man. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. But yeah, Darrell is, he is the original dude. He made those 4 wins and shit, and he's so good. He's so solid. And the other thing, though, I do want to say, like, he won his first 4, and then he got DQ'd and then eliminated in his next 2. And he was gone for a long time, but when he came back, fucking grew a personality. All of a sudden he's like funny, and like I want to know what he has to say about shit. So yeah, that's always been good. Like Darrell's just been solidly entertaining, first for his physicality, and now just as well as his personality. Next we have Derek Chavez from Real World Cancun. Last seen in Rivals 2. I remember this guy. I think him and Rob were in that first elimination. They sent Tyree and Dunbar home. I just remember him being really quick. He put in the work. I think he was in Cutthroat. Yeah. And Seasons 2, 2012. And he got pretty far, too. I think he got eliminated right before the final in that one. Yeah, and in Rivals 2, they were sent home eventually by who? I don't remember. But not bad, though. Not a bad competitor. I don't really remember any of his personality, though. So there you go. Next, we have Derek Kaczynski. He was just last seen on All Stars 1. He was eliminated from the final because he came in last. It was him and Gisela. And yeah, they weren't canoers. And that was the very first thing, basically. Well, I mean, they started with puzzles. They were the slowest at the puzzle. No, they weren't even the slowest. It was just canoeing. So yeah, Derek, you're allergic to canoes. I'm so sorry. But outside of that, though, beyond that, like fucking 3-time champion. I mean, he took second place against Jordan and CT in Dirty 30. So the guy is nonstop. And it is kind of weird, though, that he is back. I mean, just counting like Darrell as well, he's back. Before this show started, I wanted all new all-stars. I mean, I did want Yes to come back, that's for sure. But I felt like, I was like, no, I want, like, bring back Welcada. Derek, all these new people that weren't just on All-Stars, I'm really excited about. Just because I love those fresh new casts, and it's so weird that they're getting a second shot. I'm not trying to complain about it, but it took me by surprise. Let's say that there's so many returning. I think there's like, oh god, I got to do it in my head. I think there's about 6 males returning from the original spinoff, and about, I don't know, 3 females returning, something like that. I don't know. I wanted way more. Okay, let's see here. Next, we have Janelle Casanave. Oh, fuck. Sorry. I don't know how to pronounce it. But she's from Real World Key West. Last seen in the Gauntlet 3. And I think she won that. I think that's when the Badasses won. Yeah, I think she's a champ. Wait, no. Fucking Gauntlet 3. No, Gauntlet 3 is... she was the vet. Or no, fuck. Rookie. She won because the veterans didn't because of Big Easy. There, I figured it out. But yeah, I believe she won that. Although, was she in Inferno 3 as well? Damn it. I usually pride myself on knowing this stuff, but I have not seen her in forever, and I don't like to think about Gauntlet 3 as a rule, so sorry to know. But hey, you're new. You're old. But you're new to this fucking spinoff. Speaking of old but new to the spinoff is Jasmine Raynaud. Real World Cancun, last seen in Free Agents. Jasmine. Okay, so I think that there are some challengers that are cast because of their personality and not necessarily for their ability to win. You know, they're mostly there for I was going to say color. They're mostly there for, she's got personality where some are going to be physically fit. But see, what's the matter with both? You know, and she's such a tiny girl. You know, her Cancun team, they did pretty good in Seasons 2012. And I really liked her and Janae in Rivals 1. But again, that's more in terms of personality, I guess. You know, if you like Shattered Mirrors and hooking up with Tyree and stuff like that. If you're into that, if that's your thing, yeah, Jasmine will bring that back. But you know what? Again, she's probably just as cool. You know, I think if we were allowed like footage, uncut footage or whatever, like streaming footage, like Big Brother style, like I've been watching a little bit of that recently, where they just show like characters hanging out, you know, and it's not part of the episode, but you could tune in and shit and go to like zoom in on camera 5. That's my favorite girl or something like that. No. But yeah, that is super weird. But I think Jasmine would be fucking TV gold in that respect. But I tune in for the performance, physical performance, and she's never been the greatest. So, but she is new, old and new. Speaking, oh my gosh. Okay, so this was a big get in my eyes. Jodie Weatherton, Road Rules Extreme, last seen in The Duel, where she fucking took home the gold. And she dominated that entire season and stuff. Never even had to worry about seeing one dual elimination, you know? She had that shit locked down. And I've always wanted her to come back. I understand why she didn't. I mean, her and Wes retired after that. Wes ends up coming back 2 years later or whatever, but still. That was because that was like the biggest payout ever, you know? $150,000. And she's back now. That's so awesome. I respect that she held out that long, you know? Who knows what she's done since then. But way, way awesome. This is one of those times where I'm like really impressed. Out of the list so far, this is the biggest thing. I mean, Kahada's there, but kind of far behind. Like, this whole Jodie thing is awesome. Next we have Janae Mannion, is that her last name? Real World Cancun, last seen in All Stars 1, where it was nuts. She fucking was very good in that final. Like, she came in, where did she come in as? 3rd place? I think she came in 3rd place. I want to say she tied 3rd place with Kellyanne, but I could be totally off. But I think that's correct. Either way, though, she did really awesome in that final. And that final was not taking anything easy on those old fuckers, you know? Like, it was just as grueling as a modern-day final. So, yeah, she just fucking turned it on. She did really well. So, yeah, I'm glad she's back, you know? Again, I prefer a whole new fresh cast, but at the same time, she was so impressive. I'm not going to complain. All right, next. Oh, my gosh. Okay, so the opposite. Katie Doyle. Road Rules The Quest. Last seen on All Stars, the first one. Now, I'm gonna rope Katie in with Jasmine, where I'm like, they're like these tiny little women who are entertaining to hang out, and they should, I'm sure, like, just raw footage of just them hanging out, and saying shit, like, that would be good. But then as soon as you ask them to perform an actual challenge, it's not the same. They're just like, what? Like, you interrupted my conversation to do some sort of challenge thing, majiggy, Like, couldn't be bothered, really. So, yeah, and what makes it worse, because she was eliminated. But what makes it worse is that whole season she was saying, like, how, I finally got in shape. Like, I'm totally prepared, but I'm playing the role of, like, oh my god, I still can't do shit and stuff like that. When really it was just supposed to be a fake out. But she still ended up going in. She still couldn't perform during those missions. But she is back. I do like Katie, anyways. Yeah, I don't want to come down to, like, I am a Katie fan, so that is weird that I was just like, nah, fuck. But just on certain things that I want from the show, yeah. Anyways, Katie, you're back. All right, next we have Kendall Shepard from Road Rules Campus Crawl. Last seen All Stars 1. This is someone who really started to, like, steal the show in my eyes, at least for me. I thought that Kendall, all of a sudden, I was like, god damn, like, she's back. Like, I remember I kind of liked her the last scene in Inferno. And then, yeah, she really interests me, and she did really well. And she did get eliminated. Why was that? Oh yeah, it was like Nehemiah. She went in like a bunch of eliminations. Nehemiah wanted her as a partner, but then they got eliminated by Gisela and Big Easy. But I always thought that was weird, because it looked like they were struggling with their chains, like making space when the other team didn't. So I don't know, but I'm glad she's back. I mean, yeah, I don't want anyone to return, really, but hey, she's back, and I understand why. Like, she was a really interesting part of it. All right, let's go to Latarian Wallace. Road Rules Maximum Velocity Tour. Last seen All Stars 1. Yeah, he was awesome. It was great to have him back. Now that so many people are coming back, yeah, I'll be just as happy that he's back once again. But I do wonder, when these people are here, I'm like, who said no? Because when you started hearing about All Stars 1, got a lot of veterans excited to come back again, and that's how they sold it. They're like, there's going to be so many more people coming back. But as soon as these names keep repeating here, like Latarian, I'm like, well, shit. Like, who didn't come back then? Because I don't know. I heard there was going to be a lot of people coming back, like Big Gets and shit. Latarian, let's see here. He was very, like, he was just like, hey man, if you, money is one thing, but you got to be have an allegiance with your friends and stuff. But he was allegiant to Katie, and Katie didn't really seem to want to be there. So why do you want to help someone who put herself in? I don't know. It was very bizarre. And I think sometimes, hopefully this time, but I doubt it. Maybe, yeah. He's like, forget that. Money's everything. Friendship sucks. But I doubt it. All right, next we have Leah Gillingwater. Real World Paris. Last seen the Inferno. Okay, I remember her. She might have won that. I think she did. Yeah, because it's Real World. And wait. Road Rules won that one, though. So maybe she didn't win. Never mind. Oh, she had like a relationship with Darrell. Not that that's all she's, a woman is, it's just all about the man she dates. But that's all I remember. That sticks out in my mind because, like, Darrell usually doesn't fool around on TV, but he was. And I'm sorry, Aaliyah, that I don't forget anything else about you, but I do remember that you brought it in the physical challenges. Yeah, you were no slouch. And yeah, I'm sure you'll bring that shit back. Yeah, this is good. You know, it's really taken me back, and it's not a repeat. So cool. I'm into it. Next we have Melinda Staub from Real World Austin, last seen in Battle of the Seasons 2012. Yeah, I remember her. Yeah, she's done a bunch. She's done at least 4 seasons. But I don't think she's ever won an elimination, you know? Yeah. So I don't know if I should get excited, really. I mean, who knows? Maybe she's gotten better with age. I mean, we've seen that with John Nay, for instance. So who the fuck knows? And she's no longer, there's no Danny, all right? Her ex-fiance is not here, or ex-husband is not here. So that's gotta be nice, right? Yeah, moving on to MJ Garrett. Real World Philadelphia, last seen Duel 2. Yeah, I remember MJ. He was a alternate because CT and Adam got in a fight. He's just like this tall fucking Viking looking dude. And he's back. I don't really remember too much personality. I just remember he was very physical and he was able to hang with the best of them. But that's about it. I'm drawing a blank here. He was on Gauntlet 3, because he's had 3 seasons. So, and then maybe Gauntlet 2. Yeah, but he's back. He should be. Maybe he'll develop a personality, much like how Nehemiah Clark did. Last seen in All Stars, the first one. Yeah, Nehemiah was like, liked him. He was physical and shit. I remember him challenging Evan to a duel, like, really early, and that was awesome. And he's friends with Wes, but he never really talked much. And then when he came back on All Stars, he was great. I fucking loved him. I think he was like my favorite guy, like the one I was like really rooting for and stuff. But he went into 2 eliminations. He lost to Big Easy, which is apparently his kryptonite, But no Big Easy on this season, so Nehemiah, you're all right. So yeah, I'm really glad that he's back. Like I said, he was kind of my favorite, so this is cool. All right, moving on. Ryan Kehoe. He's Fresh Meat. Last seen on Fresh Meat 2, I believe. Yeah. This guy he performed okay. He got to the final in the island. I think he was eliminated right before the final in Fresh Meat 2. But he was like the double agent dude, so he knew how to work the room and shit and spread those lies. So yeah, it's not like he just comes in, he's like, what am I doing here? Like, he gets to work, so that is cool. And Fresh Meat 2 is the first challenge I ever seen, so I love everyone from that season. So yeah, this is cool. I like it. Yay, Ryan. Alright, next we have Sophia Pasquez. I don't know how to pronounce that really, but Road Rules the Quest. She only did 1 season, and that was Battle of the Sexes 2. Oh my gosh. Was this the one that got to the fucking finals? God damn it. I don't know. I'm sorry. This is so horrible, but she only did 1 season? And she may have gotten to the final? And she may have lost? Well, hey, she's back, and you know what? I'm pretty sure she's someone's Jodie Weatherton, you know. They're like, oh my god, I blah, 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 and then just name off all her stats and stuff, but I can't do that. But she is here for anyone who can. All right, next we have Steve Menk. Road Rules the Quest, last season. Another guy who was like one and done. Only did one season. Last seen the Gauntlet one, which is like the best season of all time. And I remember Steve. And I remember I was like, why didn't he ever return? He was cool. Like he had personality. He wasn't like the typical fucking casted person on the show. You know, they're like, we need someone who's just a fucking prick. You know, like Bear. He was the opposite of Bear. He was like genuine and shit, and he performed well. And yeah, this is crazy. This might usurp Jodie, but I don't know. This is how huge he was to me, just because again the power of that season, and he was good as well. And yeah, this is great. I think it's just because I haven't. You know, it's the guys that go way back. You're like, holy shit, they brought this guy back. I didn't think he would even want to be on the show anymore, you know? Especially this guy. You know, this guy seems like almost like a Brad or an Abram, or a Timmy, where they're kind of beyond the show. You know, you would think that they're just a little too mature for this sort of roughhousing on TV and stuff like that. But hey, I'm glad you got over it, and I'm glad you reverted back to 2003. All right. Next we have Tech Holmes, Real World Hawaii. Last seen All Stars. Yeah, it was cool to have him back. And I remember he challenged Nehemiah right away as soon as it was like kind of clear that Nehemiah was going to go into elimination, which I liked, and that was awesome. But I always have the sneaking suspicion that those who want to go into elimination right away is just because they don't want to be there. They're just like, they'll look around and they're like, I cannot live with these animals for X amount of days. Fuck this. Put me in elimination and I'll go out in a blaze of glory, you know? I've seen that a couple times, or at least I was suspicious of it. So Tech, he's just like, come on, Nehemiah, let's go against each other and shit like that. And this was pretty neck and neck. This was pretty impressive, although they had to eat those stupid ass peppers, ghost peppers, but then they had to like climb up and like smash shit. So it was like physical. And Tech fucking lost by like a second, man. Half a second or something like that. A fraction of a second. So I was like, all right. He was kind of pulling a Wes, you know. I think like Wes was the only guy who was like, I'll go in just because there's more camera time, you know. Like half the episode is dedicated to the elimination, so if I'm not shining in the mission, everyone's going to pay attention to me in the elimination, you know. They're like, there's certain people who don't mind going in, you know. So I think that was Tech, and he came damn close, and yeah, I'll be all right to have him back. That's cool. Next we have Tina Barta. Oh my gosh, Road Rules South Pacific. Last seen on the Duel. Oh my gosh, she punched Beth and got DQ'd. Actually, they should say last seen Cutthroat. Remember they brought her in with CT as part of like what do they call it? The Assassins or the fucking, what is it called? Damn it, I don't remember. But yeah, she was brought in to go against two chicks in Cutthroat, because like, yeah, they brought in CT to go against Bananas and Tyler, and she was brought in to go against someone, possibly Tori, and someone else I don't remember at all. So yeah, but I don't think she won either one. She was brought on as a badass, but it's like, no, I think they were brought on because they were physically violent to people, and that's why they were let go, you know? This was the very first time a what do you call it? Missionary. Why do I want to call it a missionary? An assassin was brought in. What are they called? Mercenaries. Yeah, there we go. This was when the whole concept was introduced in Cutthroat, and they brought in CT, and he hasn't been seen for years because he punched Adam King in the face. And then Tina hasn't been seen in years because she punched Beth in the face. But it's like, well, that won't translate to like a fucking good competitor in eliminations, especially in her case it didn't. Anyways, Tina's back. And I don't believe Beth's on here. Nope, she's not. So put your pockets in your... put your hands in your pockets. Concealed weapons joke. Insert in your pocket. Next we have Tyler Duckworth. Real World Key West. Last seen in Rivals. Okay. So I always thought this was crazy because Tyler, regardless of how you feel about him or how he performed and stuff, like... he won Cutthroat, and then the next season after that he won Rivals 1, and it was always very bizarre that he never came back. I mean, it could mean that he was just like, hey, I'm mature, I'm beyond this. I'm always kind of happy when people do that. Like kind of like low key, where I'm like, okay, good, because this show's a piece of shit and it's full of assholes and stuff like that. But who knows? Maybe Tyler, he's like, oh, I got that itch, I finally want to come back, or they finally called me back. Who knows? It always varies when it comes to production casting. But yeah, he's back. I just remember him being, like he put in the work. He got in tremendous shape last scene. Yeah, because like in Cutthroat he was like in shape, yet he was heavy, like he was just eating food and stuff. But then that wasn't present at all in Rivals 1. And him and Bananas, like they performed like two well-oiled machines. So yeah, this guy, he's right up there. Like I'm not like jumping over joy for him like Darrell, or Brad or Derek, But like this guy, he's, what would you call it? Underdog, or I don't know. This guy's solid. Like this is a nice little wrinkle to everything. I did not expect to see him back, so this is cool. Okay, so next on this list it says alternates on location. What the fuck does that mean? What does that mean? I mean, they could like join in later, like that's something that happens on the challenge Spies, Lies, and Allies. Like, yeah, like there's a breach, someone gets quarantined, someone gets COVID, they all get quarantined, and then some new challengers are brought in. So maybe this is that, but this is kind of a bunch of people. Alternates on location: Brandon Nelson, fresh meat person, and fucking last seen free agents. Brandon Nelson made his debut in Fresh Meat 2, which I said was the very first season I ever watched, and it's so good. It's good without being the first season I ever watched. Like I've gone back and watched shit. Solid fucking season. And because everyone has a moment. Everyone adds to the story, And he was awesome. He's always been like, I've always really liked him in everything. And I remember last scene on Free Agents, I remember the moment where he got eliminated, where it's like he's in basically Hall Brawl against Zach. Where he's like, I see Zach lowering his shoulder, and he's like, all right, I'm going to lower my shoulder too, and we'll see who comes out on top or whatever. But it's like, dude, what if you were to like leap over Zach, or just like be quicker, or use your mind or something like that, because Brad just gets fucking laid out, right? Now, it might say something to do with his pride. I remember on Fresh Meat 2 where he was talking about like how I think he was getting in a fight with Danny. And he's like, my problem is I never lost a fight before, And I was like, yeah, man, I fucking feel you. I've been in fights, and I would never say I lost. I could never say it, god damn it. But no, I mean, just that mentality where he's like, he's got a certain moment in him where he's like, You know what? No. It's kind of like Marty McFly in Back to the Future series, where it's like he can't, if someone calls him chicken, like he loses all sense of like what's important and shit like that, just to prove that he's not a chicken, So yeah, that's just what I think of Brandon. That was my last impression. I'm glad he's back. And if this is another individual thing, good. That's why I really liked him in Free Agents. I was like, finally, give this guy a shot. So yeah, here we go. Next in alternates is Emily Fitzpatrick, Real World Cancun, last seen Free Agents. I remember her. She was in Cutthroat. She left really early. She was in Free Agents. She left really early. I just remember her saying like, I'm fucking finally single now, and like I'm just trying to express myself or something like that, right? She was going through a thing, but it didn't matter. Like she didn't perform very well in either seasons, from what I remember, and I don't really remember her having a political game because she was sent in rather early in both appearances. But again, hey, there's always that Janae factor, maybe she's like, listen, I lived a life, I'm a mom, single mom, or no, they're perfectly well-adjusted little household or whatever, the father's still there, but just, she's got that mom strength now, or not even, wait, who else did really good? Kendall did really good, and she was a mom as well, so yeah, I guess it's mom strength. So yeah, Emily, I hope you got knocked up, and I hope you're ready to rock. All right, next in alternates is Jemmy Carroll, Real World New Orleans, last seen All Stars. So yeah, Jemmy, she was on the last one. She did what she always does. She's like, oh my god, confessionals is my thing. You know what I mean? But she was able to really talk a lot of people into doing what she wanted. Not in a bad way either. She was just like, here's the game plan, like this makes sense and shit like that. So, and she did make sense. I also kind of felt like she was obvious in like trying to manipulate people when things didn't make sense. I don't know. She's got a way with words. I'll just say that. But I think that's about where it ends. She's never been the most physical person, Yeah, her powers are in her mouth. There you go. All right, next we have Cyrus Yarbrough, Real World Boston, last seen All Stars. Fucking Cyrus the goddamn virus. I know that's not his nickname, but I call him that because I'm a fan of Cyrus and Con Air. Welcome to Con Air, fucking John Malkovich. Last seen, he got injured. Oh my god. He was injured before he went into elimination. They didn't even show it. He was like just casually walking, and you know how brittle the elderly are. Whatever. Like, he hurt himself and it sucked. And then he was put into elimination where he had to jump constantly onto his ankle. And he just fucked it up. And apparently it wasn't fucked up for life because he's back. So, Cyrus, do your damn thing. You were awesome last time. And I'm glad you're here. But that is the end of the list. I think this should be good. The last one was amazing. It was better than Double Agents. It was better than Total Madness, War of the Worlds 2. You know what I mean? I think it was right up there for me with War of the Worlds 1. And also the Champs versus Stars spin-offs. So, yeah. Hey, we don't have Yes. I'm totally shocked that he's not back. But I'm looking forward to this thing. I really like the last one. And hopefully, I know this sounds weird, but hopefully All Stars 2 isn't as good as what is it called? Spies, Lies, and Allies, because we want that one to be good as well, right? And that's what people mostly watch. It turns out the people did not watch the spin-offs nearly as much. And it's always bizarre to me because it's like, hey, it's more challenge and less bullshit. Come on. So, that is the end of this. Like, subscribe, comment. This was Battle of the Challenge podcast with Vincent Cloud.